As an observer of national affairs, do you feel that if the Cambodian decision is approved by history, it will be approved in time to get Nixon reelected?
Well, I haven't even gone into that. I just think that this man has a very rough job, and I think that this thing has turned into a political football, and I just think it's a time for right-thinking Americans to know the full story. I don't like to hear guys say, get out of Vietnam. That's very easy. We all like to get out of Vietnam. But 2 or 3 or 4 presidents put us in there and followed this campaign, and they had hundreds of assistants thinking about it, hundreds of military Americans thinking about it. So they know what they're doing, and you can't just think of some shallow-headed fellow that says, get out of Vietnam, unless he has a solution for getting out of Vietnam. We're getting awfully serious. Let's get into golf or something. What's happened to Agnew lately? Who has he hit?
Mr. Groom, with a school board that is divided, 5 black and 2 white, with a black president, do you have any hope of getting your way tomorrow night?
Yes, we do, Jim. We feel that this is a problem for all our parents in our district, and that the blacks on the board are very cognizant of the fact that something has to be done about our busing, that people just don't like this, and it's just not right. And we feel that we do have a chance on the board. Yes, we do.
Obviously, there must be proponents of busing in this district. Who are they, and what are they saying?
Well, the ones that we have heard are the ones that have said that, well, we've had to bus all of our lives, so why not now you whites have to bus too? And this is basically the thing that we have heard, because some of them feel that they're going to get inferior education if they do not bus. They feel that busing is going to solve their educational problems, which we do not feel it will. It hasn't in other areas, and it will not here either.
Quite excited, I think. We've been so busy getting ready. I think the impact hit us today. There's no more delay. It's here. We've got to go. No, we've just been rehearsing. We have a large repertoire, tremendously varied. The versatility of these guys, it just never ceases to amaze me what the young players can do, really, when given the chance. Just amazing. So we could play 9 hours without repeating if we wanted to. Well, we'll be playing in Hamburg, Berlin. We'll be playing in Munich, Frankfurt. We go to Montreux for 3 days. We come back to Baden-Baden, where we're filming a big spectacular, which will be shown on the largest TV network in Europe. It must be major to film for 3 solid days in Baden-Baden, where the headquarters of the Southwestern Südwestfunk, I think they call it, Southwest Radio. So it looks like a marvelous thing for us.
Or this young boy and talked to him. They did so, and in doing so, this is what led to the answers we got.
Did the boy come voluntarily?
Yes, his mother brought him in this morning.
What time did he come into your...
8 o'clock this morning.
What happens now?
Well, just wind up the investigation, and these juvenile officers then will take and complete their case on it. We're turning them boy over to them, or they are his man from here on, and they will turn him over to juvenile authorities up to county now.
Do you anticipate any charges any time the next day or so?
I think he can answer that better than I.
Yes, we will file charges on the boy.
When will you file?
Well, I'll begin filing them this afternoon.
What age is he?
He's 14.
Has he been arrested before by your department?
Yes.
For a similar crime or for what?
Similar, yes.
When was he arrested?
In December last year.
All the people who fly today are really apprehensive of the hijackers. I was in the ticket line today and a man said, "I'll take 2 chances to Florida." But you know, you really have to fly the 747 because it's really big. You have no idea. You know, it has a captain, a pilot, co-pilot, navigator, 14 stewardesses, and a golf pro.
What are the chances that the 2 officers might be removed?
I would say the chances are very good. If we determine from these meetings that this is what should happen, and this is what will be done. We very much are concerned with the fact that the people in the community are happy with the officers assigned to this community. We would like to believe that they have every confidence in the particular officer we assign. And if we find that confidence has been shaken, then it may be necessary for us to remove these 2 officers, regardless of what the problem actually is.
Then there seems to be no reflection on whether the officers are or are not doing a good job in that community.
This is not the sole question. The officers could be doing an outstanding job. But if the citizen has doubt, if the citizen believes that these officers are a detriment rather than an asset to the community, then definitely we should take some steps to correct it.
And that's what you intend to find out in these meetings?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Well, we expect to run it the last 3 Sundays in June. 3 Sundays.
It'll terminate the 1st of July then.
That's correct.
You also stated in your first 12-week period that you lost approximately $4,500. Do you think this will improve in the next 3 weeks?
No, I don't.
Do you think this system will work, sir?
Well, we hope so. It just remains to be seen. We don't expect too much out of it.
Do you think the 60-cent limit is restrictive and that it causes your passenger service to fall off?
Yes, they'll fall off some, yes.
I just want to say that I wouldn't have missed this affair and the inspiration and the work behind it, and to come and face you workers. At least this is what the mayor told me. And just to be here. And I don't need work because I've been very busy entertaining the troops at our different colleges. And the mayor speaks like I wasn't here. I was here a couple of weeks ago playing in the Byron Nelson Golf Classic for a few minutes with Mr. Palmer, and I played fairly well too. I have Palmer clubs, but they play better than I do. But I would come here anyway to visit one of your great citizens, Byron Nelson, who has been one of my pupils, and he's just one of my all-time favorites. And of course, being in Dallas, I've left a little of my money here. It's really my second Vegas, and but I've enjoyed it. And I'll tell you, I enjoyed playing at that theater. Crosby still thinks it's a bus station, but I enjoyed working there, and I got a tremendous kick yesterday. I did come in from New York because I was at Pace College in New York, and I received an honorary degree there yesterday as Doctor of Laws. And I know it's just an honorary title. In fact, that's a direct quote from Robert Finch.
Tonight we seek not only to pay tribute to those who have worked hard, we seek also to preserve, to widen, and to reaffirm our union in public concern. The greatest tasks lie ahead. We as volunteers must now create an atmosphere in which the professionals can achieve the goals efficiently and effectively. The challenge has been there since 1965 for each of us to meet in his own way. The challenge will continue to be ours. Whether we succeed depends only on us.
A few months ago, the city of Fort Worth, acting on the recommendation of the library board, hired some outside consultants to survey the city and recommend a site for a new library. The experts spent some time talking and socializing and made a whirlwind tour of the city, then made their recommendation. The library board also ran a public opinion survey, which produced a site different from that of the experts. After the ballyhoo died down, the library board site selection committee, chaired by Gordon Appleman, met a few more times on an irregular basis, and still no firm recommendation has been made to this date. Neither the site selected by the people or the site recommended by the high-priced weekend experts. Mr. Appleman told me today in a telephone conversation that his committee hopes to make a recommendation before the September city bond election. Mr. Clark Gillespie, president of the library board, told me today that he feels the site will be chosen and decided on by the board within a month. It seems quite obvious that the majority of library users, according to the survey, prefer the convenience of Amon Carter Square. However, apparently some downtown businessmen seem to prefer a downtown site, which coincides with the choice of the trio of experts, coincidentally. If indeed Mr. Gillespie's estimate is correct, perhaps the new site for the library will be forthcoming within a short time. Art Sinclair, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
We have decided that these folks that came in this morning, the people calling themselves the citizens, the concerned citizens of North Dallas, have a very real feeling about what they told us. We feel like that they believe that they have a grievance about concerning the two officers. So what we intend to do is conduct a series of meetings with this group in order to determine just how it should be handled. We'd like to look into it, determine if all complaints are valid, and if so, just what we need to do about it.
How long will this series of meetings last?
Well, I use the word series of meetings. If one or two meetings will accomplish the purpose, of course, that's what we'll take. The first meeting will be tonight at 6:30, and if this one meeting will accomplish its purpose, then of course we will do it from here. We need a little more time to talk with this group and learn just exactly what the problem is.
You have threatened some kind of legal action if they won't listen.
Jim, we're just looking into all avenues. We've talked to attorneys, and we're going to try to see just exactly what all is involved, and surely if we will take legal action.
Since you do object to the HEW plan, what is your plan?
Well, right now, I talked this morning to Mr. Jim Collins in Washington, and we discussed the Charlotte, North Carolina or South Carolina plan that had been brought to my attention. At this time, I did not know about it, and we're going to look into this. We understand that Charlotte was forced to bus by HEW, and now then they no longer have to bus, but they have a different and separate type of plan, and we want to know what this is all about. Plus, we understand that Houston now will not have to bus, and we'd like to look into this facet also, so that we feel that there are other ways to bring about totally an education in our school that would make it a much better schools for our children than just having a bus from school to school and not having any choice in anything. It's just not right, it seems to us, to force busing upon us because of the cost.
The program here will get underway immediately. We will study, and the postmaster and his staff will study, all the operational conditions in this office, all the personnel conditions in the office, the various facilities, stations, branches, and the main office, to see just what can be done to improve the total conditions and operation of the Fort Worth Post Office. As he identifies things that are necessary for improvement, the regional director in Dallas and his staff will devote all their resources to helping improve these things that are identified here. Those things that the region does not have the authority to take action on will be referred on to the Post Office Department in Washington, where they will receive priority attention.
These findings were handed to the commissioners and to the administrators of the local public welfare department just this morning, that they also are entitled to some time to inspect our findings and to make determinations of their own according to what we have handed them. I further felt that it was not right to put these people in the position of having to immediately justify findings they had not even had the opportunity to read.
Well, it's just exactly what the word implies. Ungraded, or it could be continuous progress, could be another word. Another word that could be used to describe it. Basically, it has to do with the fact that all children don't learn at the same rate. They don't learn any individual subject at the same rate. So we have divided our courses where children can take it in short segments, can go through at their own rate. For instance, in mathematics, it has been divided into 40 levels of capability in grades 6, 7, and 8. Some of these youngsters are working in math at the 3rd grade level, some 4th, some 5th, some at 9th, and some at 10th, some at 6th, 7th, and 8th, naturally. So what it amounts to, we find the level where they can achieve and successfully do the work, then we start building upon that point and going forward at their rate. If they're way below and are capable, they move much more rapidly when they have a base to build on. The same thing is true in math, the same thing is true in reading, it's true in English and in grammar, it's true in science, it's true in every subject we have except most of the electives. Therefore, we're going to a non-graded situation with a new type of report card which will report to the parents what the children are able to do.
We agree with the district attorney's position on bail bond, that no bond should be allowed to any individual that has served in a penitentiary, were out on probation, or has been on probation. You're not dealing with the first offender. You're dealing with an individual that causes, as a professional criminal tell us, Chief, that for every time that he's caught, he's committed 11 other crimes. I think the average, national average, is about 8. Department. But the only way you can be effective is let's be fair. If this police department wasn't fair, I would tell you very frankly it wasn't fair.
There has has been some professional agitation in the city of Dallas, no doubt about that. I don't think the Panther movement has caught on in Dallas, and it's not large in Dallas at this time, very limited, in fact. But there has been some professional agitation on the part of some people in the city of Dallas, no question about that.
What about the mafia implications?
Well, it boils down to a question of what is organized crime. The mafia activity, in my opinion, is very limited here in Dallas, and I don't think it has a stronghold, a foothold in the city of Dallas. There has been some of the suspected members visiting Dallas at one time or another, and their influence may be felt in the community, but not extensively. And I think that the organized crime that we should be concerned about is that crime that being done by the professional criminals. These are the ones who are really giving us a bad time now in terms of the crime problem. Head table, Dallas Crime Commission, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to, first of all, bring you up to date on some programs that are underway in the Dallas Police Department now, programs that have been undertaken very recently.
We are happy and relieved that the courts of this state have vindicated that decision and the previous annexation of Grand Prairie, all of which have been conducted in good faith. Now that the original dispute has been finally settled by the courts, the two cities must continue to cooperate in their efforts to continue to make this the greatest region in the country. We pledge ourselves to this task.
We need an absolute minimum of 1,900 sworn personnel in the Dallas Police Department. This is the absolute minimum. We can't get by with anything less and produce a level of efficiency that you desire and we want to achieve. And we must have that many men, and we must have those as quickly as they can be recruited.
For one thing, there seems to be a belief on the part of some citizens in the North Dallas area that a problem exists. Now, if enough people believe this problem exists, whether it does in fact or not, then we do have a problem here. I'm inclined to believe that we should look very closely at just what the problem is and take whatever steps that are necessary to correct it.
Fort Worth detectives Cobb and Cole have apparently solved the Paul Shelton sex slaying with the arrest of a 14-year-old boy. Paul Shelton was found in Cobb Park a week ago today. The boy has admitted to slaying orally and is expected to sign a written statement shortly. Detectives say the boy has a history of sex-oriented crimes. Police say the 13-year-old dead youth apparently did not know his killer. Art Sinclair for Channel 8 News on the Move in Fort Worth.
Mr. Sinclair, you asked me what we're trying to achieve in the city, in the river for the city of Fort Worth. And the idea is very simple. The river has been, over the last few years, at considerable expense, worked very well for flood control. Now what our assignment is to exploit the vast opportunities that the river provides for Fort Worth and all its citizens in terms of other uses, which would be compatible with flood control and won't destroy its ability to do that, but also add this tremendous dimension that a river can provide, particularly in a city like Fort Worth. All the great cities in the world, and I hope this will include Fort Worth, have used their riverfronts as not only places to move boats and traffic or to control floods, which many of them have to do, but also as places for people to stroll, places for people to picnic, and in addition to that, other things such as places for people to eat, restaurants, amusement areas, playgrounds, many different kinds of uses.
And he will be given the information before the board will. Because only in working this way can we overcome this thing, and we don't mean recently they come out with a statement to the effect that they thought that the police was using their firearms too freely in the minority sections. Three months ago we took a look at this, and we talked to responsible people in the minority section, not the SDS leaders, and not the Black Panther leaders, or this group. And they contend that this is not so.
Should
Dr. Nellums, we, the Committee of Better Schools, asked that the board tonight rescind the plan that has been submitted to HEW, and that we go back to HEW with a plan, to negotiate a plan whereby that we can have, let me get this right because we wrote this in committee, that we go back to HEW and ask them to renegotiate and replan and work a plan whereby that we can have a freedom of choice in our schools with transportation provided for anyone to go to any school of their choice beyond 2 miles of their home from the school, and that we go on record as wanting the neighborhood schools in our community and in our school district, and that with this, that the board gets with the parents and HEW and with the Committee for Better Schools being the instrument from the parents to get with you and plan out this so that we can have a comprehensive, progressive educational plan for our children in our district. And
it is not the desire of the school board to push anything down the throats of any member of the community. and I better make it, it is not my desire. I would, however, like to point out to you the position I am in as president of the board. I know that many of the patrons are bitterly opposed to busing of their children. This I can understand and appreciate. If we can come up with any plan that will satisfy the requirement of the law as set out by the courts and the regulations prescribed by HEW, short of busing, I feel sure that we should get together and consider what plans we might make.
Questions of price are not here involved. This is the action that I urge.
Okay. If it's not a question of the monetary offer for the property, then what is the problem?
Should the property be taken in the first place? Is this a good way to do it? Does the city really need to take the property? Has not the black community borne more than its share of the cost, the social cost for the urban development of the city of Dallas?